It's been a long time, guys. I did not make any video on Azure Storage. But one thing I would like to tell you here is Azure Storage is very important topic, and even though you are preparing for fundamentals, associate or expert level certification in Azure, you always get questions from storage. So if you have a strong hold on Azure Storage, it means you can easily deploy your infrastructure. You can easily able to give answer in the examination. And obviously, it will be also easy for you to relate Azure Storage with different Microsoft services. Because when we deploy, let's say, Azure Virtual Machine, app services or web application, they all consume Azure Storage one way or another. So you should be very much aware that what exactly storage types are, what exactly the storage replications is all about, and how actually you can leverage all these advantages or options we have in Azure Storage while deploying these resources. Hello guys, my name is Harshanga. And in this video, specifically, we are going to talk about storage replication type. In our last video, we have actually covered that how actually we can create storage account type, which means like blob storage, storage version 1, storage version 2. We already got understanding on these topics, and we are very much clear which storage account type we have to choose during the creation. Apart from that, I did not mention that what exactly the storage replication types are and how you need to choose the right one for you. Don't worry, we are going to cover much more in detail in this video, and after this, your concepts are going to be very much clear that which storage replication type you have to choose while creating your storage account. So guys, basically we are going to cover here in this video 4 different storage replication type. First 2 ones are local redundant storage and zone redundant storage. Basically, local redundant storage and zone redundant storage is all about is managing your storage units or storage overall within the same data center or in the same area, at least in the same region. All right. And when we talk about the GRS or GeoRedundant storage and RA-GRS, which means read access GeoRedundant storage, it's all about disaster recovery. So whenever in your organization said, hey, I need a low cost solution from Azure Storage, always go for LRS. If they have concerns, we need a little bit high availability in terms of storage, but we still need a low cost solution, then choose zone redundant storage. I will tell you what is the difference between local redundant storage and zone redundant storage, but here it just gives you the better idea which one you have to choose while creating your storage account. The next one we have is GRS. If they said, hey, we need disaster recovery, whenever they speak this word, that means you have to choose your storage account type or any kind of service which consume geo-redundant storage, because it actually copy your data from one region to another region. Now the fourth one we have is read access GRS. Previously means approximate a year ago, we do not have RA-GRS, but now Microsoft has introduced RA-GRS storage replication type. There's a big advantage, but it's also work similar like GRS. So again, RA-GRS is also used for disaster recovery. Don't worry, we will talk about this right now, and I give you much more in detail what are the difference between these all different storage replication types. And I'm pretty confident after you watch this video, it will be very much clear to you which storage replication type you have to choose while creating storage account. And I will show you from where you have to choose these all storage replication types as well. So guys, let's begin. So let's begin with the very first option in storage replication type, that is locally redundant storage. So guys, if you need to choose a solution from Azure Storage which has a low cost, then you have to choose only and only locally redundant storage. Because as compared to all other available solutions from Azure Storage, especially in terms of storage replication type, LRS can give you the cheapest price to store your data in Azure. So this is the only advantage to choose your storage, because all other advantages like high availability or you can say disaster recovery situations, local redundant storage are not gonna help you in that situation. So if your organization does not care much about your data, and they said if Microsoft data center goes down for some reason and they don't care up to how much time the data center is not available, it is absolutely fine with them to stay way like that, means they don't care about the data accessibility, then I think you should go for low cost, locally redundant storage in storage account creation or any other service creation within Microsoft Azure. The only advantage here is while choosing LRS that within the same data center you have multiple rack server, so it actually copy in multiple or at least 2 different rack servers and kind of duplicate your data from one rack to another 2 rack server, so that if one of the rack server is not available for some reason, then you are able to recover your data from other available rack server immediately during this time. But remember, this has to be done within the same data center in the same primary region. And that's why I mentioned the second point, replicates within data center rack in a primary region. So to make you a little bit more understanding on this concept, I have created one picture here, which will give you a better idea. So let's jump on the picture and try to understand more. So guys, I have one data center, and remember, this data center is in the same primary region. All right. So in the same data center, obviously we do have storage units where, all of the data stored actually. And these storage units are actually on the multiple different rack servers. So let's take an example. This is rack server number 1, rack server number 2, and rack server number 3. So basically, if we choose LRS and we store data, so when it comes to storage unit number 1, it automatically copies that same data on storage unit, rack server 2 and rack server storage unit number 3. So what does it mean? If your one of the rack server is updating, like I'm talking about fault domain, update domain, that concept, if your server is in rebooting state or let's say is in shutdown state due to some maintenance period, then automatically you are able to access your data from another rack servers which is available in the same data center. So that exactly the work of the locally redundant storage, which means within the same data center under the same storage units, but on different rack servers. I hope you are very much clear now where the locally redundant storage actually use, in what situation you have to choose and why you have to choose. But there's one more important catch, and you have to remember that locally redundant storage actually gives you 99.99 up to 11.99 kind of percentage uptime. So it's kind of like, great advantages, because obviously Microsoft data center is not going to be down just like that until unless there's not a natural disaster happen. But yeah, it should be in consideration that if the whole data center goes down, what other solutions we have. So guys, to answer of that question, we have to go to the next option, that is zone redundant storage. So zone redundant storage is one of the newest storage replication type from Microsoft Azure, and the main purpose of zone redundant storage is that if your region basically supports availability zones, so it means that your data will be copied into the multiple 2 other zones, including the main one. For example, on this picture you can see I have a primary region. In the primary region, I have one data center 1, data center 2, and data center 3. And obviously these all 3 data centers have different power source, different storage units, different processing powers, different cooling system. I mean, absolutely different. That's why we called it availability zones. So in this primary region, we have right now, as an example, 3 availability zone. So if you select ZRS, creating your storage account or any other service, so what it does, it actually copied your data from storage unit from one of the availability zone data center to another 2 different data center, or you can say the availability zones. which means if the whole data center goes down for some reason or something happened to that situation or that place, maybe electricity, one of the reason or the issue, then don't worry, you are still able to access your data from other two availability zones option. But just remember, this is the same region, all right? It does not count into the different region. So right now, it's better than LRS, but your data still stored in the primary region. And I think it's fine, because obviously it cannot be happen that all of the availability zones gonna be shut down state immediately, because as I said, they all have a different power source, they all have a different network system, processing system, cooling system, everything is all different. So it cannot be a kind of a possibility that all of these data centers immediately goes down, until unless if really a big natural disaster happened and the whole complete region is down. Until then, it's absolutely fine. Now let's talk about a little bit more on the cost. So guys, ZRS is a little bit extra costlier than LRS, but certainly it is costlier than LRS because it actually provides you high availability and durability, because it copied your data, the storage unit, from one availability zone to another availability zone. So I think it helps you to understand better. And just like I mentioned in the third point, that it actually replicates within availability zones or clusters. We call it storage units clusters, but in the same primary region, which is absolutely fine with us. And another advantage of using zone redundant storage is that it actually is available up to 99.999 12 times. LRS is for 11 times and ZRS or ZRS for 12 times. So it's really a great way to store your data, and you can at least expect some kind of high availability. If one of the availability zone down, then you are able to recover your data from another availability zone. I think it is very much clear to you, right? This picture. So let's move forward and try to understand GeoRedundant storage and RA-GRS as well. Like I shared in ZRS, that if you choose this option, then you can simply able to copy your data from one availability zone to another availability zone, but within the same primary region. Obviously, if one of the availability zone down, you can recover your data from another availability zone, which is absolutely fine. And obviously it has advantage over LRS. But if your whole primary region is down due to any natural disaster, just like earthquake, then obviously guys, you need to choose the next option we have in storage replication type, that is GRS. The GeoRedundant storage, guys, has a lot of advantages, and obviously I would like to share with you a little bit more detail about it, that how it actually helps us to make sure our data is available during the disaster recovery situation or disaster situation as well. Before to move forward, I would like to tell you one more thing, that GeoRedundant storage and read-only GeoRedundant storage are almost have a same architecture and same structure, but there's only two major differences in between these two. Don't worry, let me explain you one by one. So first start with GeoRedundant storage. Guys, first of all, it has higher cost than GRS and LRS. Obviously, yes. Why? Because it actually copies your data from one region to another region. For example, one primary region to secondary region. So the overall advantage is that if you are able to recover during the situation of the whole region is down, the option is still available for you. When the Microsoft makes sure fail over your primary region to secondary region, then absolutely your data will be available within 15 minutes. Don't worry, I will give you a little bit more information on that because it is very important, and sometimes the questions also comes into the examination. So guys, to understand GeoRedundant storage, it actually replicates within primary region using LRS, then copy to secondary region. Pretty simple, straightforward line. To understand this, let me take you to my picture and try to explain a little bit more on that. So guys, basically, as you can see here, I have two regions. One is East US2 and another region is West US2. All right. So similarly, just like we have in one region, I have a storage unit. And actually it has storage unit, multiple data center, availability zone, whatever you can think of this. So right now we have this storage unit, let's say this storage unit number 1, 2, and 3. So as soon as you store your data into EastUS2, it actually follow LRS way to copy your data into 3 different storage units, or you can say other rack server, which is absolutely fine with me. So as soon as it has been copied successfully, now GRS, what it do, it actually copied these 3 copy or replicated data into other 3 storage unit or other 3 different region storage units in other region. For example, from EastUS2, it has 3 copies. It actually copies the 3 copies to another region, which is WestUS2 in the storage units. So obviously, if one whole primary region is down, don't worry guys, when the Microsoft make sure this primary is down, which was a primary previously, and this was secondary, let me just write down first, and this primary is down, then automatically they fail over this region to here. Now this primary become, secondary become primary now. Then during this time, your data won't be available, and obviously it takes, according to Microsoft data plane, it takes approximate 15 minutes to complete the failover from one data center or one region to another region. So as soon as your data copy to this, as soon as your data copy to another region, then you will be very free. Your data won't be available until your whole region is down, because in case of disaster situation, if you need any data, your data will be available from LRS, but this LRS won't work if the whole region is down. So if the whole region is down, then Microsoft perform a failover, then your another region, which is WestUS2 here, when it's up and running and considered to be as a primary, then your data will be available right after that. And guys, one important thing, during this time, this 15 minutes failover time, if you are copying any data, it may be lost. Remember that, you have to keep in your mind, because during this 15 minutes while performing failover, obviously they will inform you that the whole data center is down, storage is also down from EastUS2 in this example. Then you will stop copying or stop saving your data. But in any situation, you copy any data during this failover period from primary region to secondary region, guys, your 15 minutes data is not gonna be saved on any of the storage unit. Just remember this, because you do not find this anywhere. This is a very important thing, and I'm from Microsoft, so I am aware about this point. All right, so keep in your mind this. Another thing is I would like to mention that obviously it is absolutely used for disaster recovery solution or disaster recovery situation, because if primary region is down, that is a disaster, actually disaster situation, because here the whole storage unit, whole data centers are down. We are not talking about even here availability zone, because here whole availability zones also down. So in that situation, obviously we need to follow the disaster recovery solution, where it can just move your role from primary to secondary or secondary to primary using disaster recovery solution, which has been implemented by Microsoft itself. We don't need to worry on that. All right. Another thing is the availability for GeoRedundant storage is 9.9 up to 16. I think approximate 16, right? Or 14, sorry, 14 approximate. Let me read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It is 16, guys, not 14. My mistake. Sorry. Actually, I copied this from one of the Microsoft PDF, or it's a book actually, and I think it would be great to share with you that you can find out the differences between the availability of these different kind of storage replication type. So this is another thing, and just like I mentioned, important point here, the data will be only available when Microsoft perform failover. During this time, you are not able to access your data. But again, guys, it has an advantage because your data is safe and secure in secondary location. Now, what if your organization said, no, I still need this data? They just keep asking from Microsoft, hey, this data is very important for me and I cannot wait for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I need my data right now. Then guys, you need to choose the next solution, which is read-only GeoRedundant storage, which means, first of all, the first difference, it has higher cost than GRS. Obviously, why? because it has actually provide read access copy data from secondary location, even though your primary data center or even the whole region is down. Let me repeat again. If your whole region East US2 is down, you are still able to access your data from secondary location, which is West US2 in our example. And that exactly can be achieved from read-only GeoRedundant storage. And that is why it is having higher cost, because you don't need to wait for 15 minutes. You are still able to access your data. But again, this data cannot be, with a full permitted like read write operation. You only have read operation permission during this time. But obviously after perform 15 minutes, you can have a complete access of your data. You can read, you can write, whatever you want to do, you can do that. So yeah, it's really a great way to make sure our solution is available 24/7 at any time, any specific timestamp or 10 or even a smaller amount of second, your data will be still available even though your data center is down. All right, so obviously it has the same advantage I shared with you, disaster recovery, and has same 99.16 time 0.9999 like GRS. So there is no big difference. Only difference is you are able to access your data even though your primary region or primary whole region is down. So guys, these are four differences, different kind of storage replication type. And believe me, Microsoft will also introduce and planning to introduce a little bit more storage replication type. Once they introduce that, I will share with you in upcoming videos and try to share with you more information. But now let's move forward and try to see where we can find these storage replication type during the creation of storage account, as well as I will show you what exactly the cost, if you like to analyze the cost, where you have to go, from where you can find more information on the cost or the pricing of Azure Storage. All right, guys, so let's go to storage account first and try to create a new storage account so that we can see where we can find option for storage replication type, and which option you have to choose. You have to decide with your own requirement. At the moment, to see where we have this option, just go to storage account. Go to the search in Azure portal and type here. And last time we have created some of the storage accounts. Here's the storage account type, storage version 2 or general purpose V1. So obviously I'm not going to bore you to talk about this again here in this video. So let's click on add and try to see option here. So guys, first of all, you need to understand that before to choose storage replication type, it matters on the location. It is very important that which region you are choosing here, because let's say if you are choosing India, in India we may not have availability zone at the moment, so you cannot choose ZRS. All right, so some of the region also do not support RA-GRS. So you need to understand your region, and you need to make sure that you must be aware that which region has a fully functional availability of these all options. Or if you simply like to create LRS and GRS, I think any of the region in Azure is perfectly fine for you. So as an example here, guys, I'm going to choose the region East US2, because in East US2 we can find maximum available option for storage replication type. The another factor here, that which option you can choose and which option you cannot choose in storage application type, is storage means account kind or account type. So I think you already know the differences, and I also mentioned in the previous video that storage version 2, what kind of replication type they are supporting and what option that you can choose during the creation, right? Anyhow, as an example, I'm going to choose here storage version 2, and let's click on this option. So we have right now LRS, ZRS, GRS, RA-GRS. We have two more, or you can say a little bit more options: Geo Zone Redundant Storage and RA-GZRS Zone Redundant Storage. They have a couple of big names. Obviously, it's similar like Zone Redundant Services, but they also applied geo, which means it actually copied from one availability zone primary region to another availability zone primary region. For example, in East US2, I have availability zones, and I choose here as an example GZRS, which means it actually copied in multiple different availability zone my data. And right now I copied this availability zone data to another region, which is, as an example, West US2. It also has availability zones. So what it does is actually copy the same exact data to another location. So it means if we lost our primary region, don't worry, our data in the separate availability zone still available on that different site. So that's the difference between GRS, oh sorry, GRS, yeah, RA-GRS and GeoRedundant storage. So I think you can find more differences in the Microsoft official documentation, but here is, you can choose the right one as per your requirement, and based on that, you can go ahead and start creating your storage account. So which is pretty neat and clean. I think I don't need to mention again because you already know the drill, how and which option you have to choose here, right? All right, now the next option I would like to talk about here is the pricing calculator, which is very, very important. So guys, in the pricing calculator, the website is azure.microsoft.com/en-us/pricing/calculator. As soon as you type, you will find out this option and go to products. All right. In the product, we have storage account. As an example, you can choose this one because it will help you to guide that how much money it does cost. Let's say if you like to save 1 terabyte or 100 GB or 200 GB, you can choose them and you can choose the blob storage and save your data based on the pricing. And obviously the right option you have to choose based on storage replication type because it matters a lot. So just choose storage account here. So it has been added. After it has been added, just scroll down a bit and you can find more information here. All right. So first of all, you need to choose the right region. So as an example, I can choose East US2, which is absolutely fine with us, and redundancy, which means storage replication type. So here I'm going to choose, let's say, GRS. So how much it does cost me based on 1 terabyte. So automatically right now, pay as you go. This is my subscription, or 1 year result, because 1 year result will be a little bit cheaper. And if we go to 3 year, it is even more cheaper. But right now, just go to pay as you go. So currently you are consuming $36 and this is average per month. It can certainly increase based on more operation, and it can just list and create container operation, read operation, all other operation. It just calculate everything, and overall price will be approximate $60 for 1 terabyte. This will be the cost for per month if you're going to choose GRS. But let's say if I choose here LRS as an example. So just go down and check how much price it is here. Instead of $60, you only have to pay approximate $20. So it has a huge $40 difference. So guys, that is why you need to choose wisely which storage replication type you have to choose before to create any Microsoft Azure service or a storage account, right? I think it would be very much helpful for you before you move forward to choose the right options for your organization, correct? So guys, one last thing I would like to mention, and I request you to please keep in your mind while choosing storage account creation, because you have to choose the right region and obviously right replication type to move forward to create a storage account. In this particular picture, you can find out what Microsoft has newly introduced in the different Azure regions. And I'm talking about availability zones, announced region, announced availability zones, because previously some of the region do not support availability zones, but now some of the region already have those feasibility. So guys, please go to Microsoft Azure region website, which I shared in the previous video, and try to gather as much as information, or please keep yourself up to date, because it will help you to create a new storage account type. Because if the, for example, a specific region is nearby your location, I highly recommend to choose that one only. Do not need to choose a quite far away place to create your resources until unless your company, your organization people are actually working in those areas. But yeah, the purpose here is to share this particular picture to tell you that in the previous Azure region, some of the region was planning to come in or add into Microsoft Azure. But right now, Microsoft has introduced couple of new Azure regions, and they are planning to introduce even more. So you must be aware about all these options, because based on this, you can choose that which storage replication type you have to choose to create your resources. So guys, yeah, that to be all for today. I hope you find this video quite informative and helpful, and certainly you learned something new today, because it is really gonna help you to create the right storage account, and we can move forward after this to start deploying some solution within these different storage account. I'm talking about configuring files, storage, and enable security and all that stuff. So just get ready and be prepared for some additional videos from Azure Storage, and some of the advanced level of Azure Storage I will cover in AZ-104 certification, guys. So stay tuned with me and keep watching AZ-104 certification, because after completion of subscription, I will have a plan to jump into the storage. But don't worry, I will inform you in advance that what topics are gonna be covered in upcoming time. So as for right now, please take care of yourself, guys. And yeah, India still is facing a huge problem on the coronavirus. So please take care of yourself and your family. And guys, I'm going to drop a very soon meeting, and I will inform you 2 to 3 days earlier that what is a meeting request. Please make sure you are following me on Facebook and Twitter. Only people those are following Twitter and Facebook, they are able to get the information that how they can join me on the meeting, and we can have a great conversation right there. So in the end, guys, finally, please take care. And once again, I hope you find this video informative and helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Peace.